Hey everybody, DayTraderRockStar here, and this is the high probability watch list for the week of last week of July. Well, actually last week of June going into the first week of July. Monday will be the 29th of June, and then the 30th, and then beginning of July here, July 4th, next week. All right, so we ended up closing down. We had a really big down day today. Again, I'm usually just doing some research and stuff in the morning, and right about I was here, I was doing some work and stuff, and I think I jumped on the mic here in the morning, and we were just discussing the discussing the markets. And about 8:30 I got off, and then we kind of chopped around, and at 9:30 we watched the market open up here. We're going to zoom in here a little. Dipped and then tried to run, and then it actually came in with pretty decent sell divergence. That big candle, and I think we called that that big divergence up here, and it was almost a little bear flag also, if I can remember that, And then we started selling off, and then we had some news, and this is what the important part of the whole week was. Every time we got these nice turnovers, they've happened around. On this case, they happened when the news got released around 10:30, 11 is when we started to get the coronavirus updates for different states, and they have the press conference and stuff. And this week they've been banging the drum on, kind of rolling back the opening of the economy. So I think the administration got themselves into a kind of a pickle because. They came out and says, no way are we reclosing, we're going to do that again, no way, 100% no. And then all of a sudden you're seeing this spike in the viruses, and you're like, holy crap, now these states are rolling back and closing, going back into quarantine and going back to phase one or whatever, just not going to the new phases that they were supposed to go to. And that's going to overhang us, and that's the danger. If this thing continues to see a spike in this, I'm getting to the point now where I don't know what's going on. I didn't expect viruses to come back in the summertime. So there's you think of the flu, and when we have the flu, it's always a flu season. So I thought a lot of people might be thinking that this thing might die around the over the summer. But maybe this thing is some kind of real deal, new kind of super bug that is highly infectious. Excuse me, and doesn't go away. So that we are getting better on the deaths associated with the disease have gone down and continue to slope down, but the spike here has everyone concerned and has the market concerned, and that's why we're down. And there's not much else to talk about. If they ever came out, this is the number one fix. If they came out with a vaccine or any type of treatment, a real effective, strong treatment that really almost guarantees you're going to be okay and stuff, that is what the market really needs. And until this thing overhangs us and they're going to focus on it going into the election, it's going to be a crazy ride. I'm tending to believe that we continue to bounce back. But I wouldn't be surprised if we have more bad news. And more bad news is just that's what it is, exactly. It's going to be bad news to shut things back down. People will get frustrated on that. I'll be frustrated, I want the kids going back to school next year. And they're already talking about that's not going to happen. So today, overall markets down, rolling over on the daily. The hourly has, today rolled over. I wasn't too keen on this day at all. And we did get pushed back down here on the 60. The daily going back, we did take out the previous low. It's really negative. We closed on the lows. That's pretty negative. So some of these time frames that we're seeing lining up, I mean, it's easy to see us gap down on Monday if there's no significant, any news that we could gauge that's gonna maybe put some fears, quell some fears, and then we could get this market pushing back up. Today I did something different. I came in today and I did some research last night, and I was going to, actually do that for the high probability watch list. I took a different route. I wanted to go over some research things that I was working on, because I remember about 3 or 4 months ago I started doing this. I was looking for cheap stocks. Right now we're getting an amazing transformation into this market, a millennial market, and those are fast traders. They're using the Robinhood platforms. They're using these new millennial platforms. They have all the statistics and analytics that go along with this, and they know how many people are holding what and where the majority of popularity and what stock it's going into and where the money flow is. It's really, you really get a feel for where the momentum lies. And it doesn't even have to be any significant news. It's what they grab onto, and then the volume leads to other, and it comes up on the people's alerts, and then everyone follows the same thing because they're trying to just ride that wave, and hopefully there's a story behind it, but most likely it's just a kind of a feeding frenzy. All these stocks here get pushed up hundreds of percent, and they eventually come back down. But it could be a dangerous ride for a short side. It's so hard to gauge these. So how do you explain all these stocks that kind of go flatline and then they have these big spikes? These big spikes I want to show you right now. I'm going to go to my work list here. I have a work list that I started to look at. Let's see. What do we want to look at here first? My personal list. Where is it? Maybe it's my favorites? No. Watch list. It's here. Here we are. All right. So this is from actually yesterday, but the idea is to get these stocks before they pop, not be chasing these momentum traders. The winds of the world, and I mean, there's craziness out there. Look at this one. This one from about, $6-7 to $70 one day, and then it came back, spiked back down. It moves 40, 50 points a day. It is a wild ride, and there's probably nothing behind it, But they all start from nothing. I could probably give you hundreds of examples. And you probably know a lot of them because we've been focused on them a lot the last, I would say the last few weeks. We're starting to, just trying to catch these runners in the morning. It takes a little research. It takes a little luck. You don't want to, but the opportunity to make money is there, and that's what traders need: the volatility and an opportunity to make the market, make that trade and be, liquid enough to get out and have some profits in it. Not something that's just moving 2 pennies pre-market. You want these things that are running 20, 30%. It's dangerous, but you prepare yourself properly. You get up at the right time. You have to get up early in the morning. I have to get up 4 o'clock. That's when that news starts to hit, and this is where these stocks gap up originally, and you can start to see volume coming into it. Everyone who gets up at 4 in the morning is going to have the advantage, especially in a minute like a Tuesday or a Wednesday, when the market gets going. Sunday to Monday, that Monday trade, sometimes you get that early morning news release. That could come at 6. But definitely Tuesday, Wednesday, that would be my goal, to get in at 4 o'clock if I was really, really intent on, taking this to the limit, which you should always be. But, there's so many opportunities out there. So I started looking at some of these stocks that have been flatlined for so long. And most of them, if you go back in the history, will always have a spike in them. And it's these momentum stuff. But this one hasn't had that type of, crowd jumping in. What caused this? Probably a news release. The news release came out, and the day traders got in it, and they spiked it from under a penny to $8, $9. All right, so we're down here about 48 cents. Next ID. Now, I didn't really even look into these. I was mainly just I'm making a bunch of lottery ticket trades here. I'm finding the ones that haven't popped yet on volume, and just taking 1,000 shares if they're under $1. So I'm just there's about 40. So these are the ones I'm going to go over with you right now. And I posted them today early this morning, so you probably already got them in your email. And I already bought the shares right at the open. And then from that point on, I didn't really pay attention too much to the market. I didn't trade too much. I ended up taking a call, kind of a little call that expired today, and it was up, and then it came down, and it was down, and I ended up taking it off. But it was going to expire today anyway, so I think I salvaged 60 cents from it. I got cut in half. But that's it. That's the only thing I did. So, seeing that market sell off here, I didn't take advantage of anything. But I did buy these stocks. So the next let me see which ones I got here. I have to look. I bought a lot of them. But this is one that, I don't think I got this one, did I? I didn't get this one. NXTD. But this is something I absolutely love. I remember this stock being on my terrorism watch list back when we had, I think when we had there was a terrorist attack somewhere. It wasn't. I think it might have been the bombing in the Boston Marathon or something. And I put together a bunch of time. And this was one of the stocks. So I think that had something to do with facial recognition or IDs, stuff like that, security. This could, and it's been going up since March. It's slowly moving up. It has a nice little flag here. And like I said, it hasn't really had any significant news since the beginning where it popped up here. So we're looking for stocks like this that haven't moved, that have potential. I mean, we have to dig deeper to see what the story is on each one of these. The first thing I did was take those charts and I just, I looked at them and I just, they were all about 50 cents in that 50-cent range. And I kind of just picked up the shares, and this is where I discuss them a little bit more. ADMP. Did I get that? ADMP. I don't have that one either. ADMP. I have a lot of these. I only picked up about 4 or 5, 4 maybe. But here again, another pharmaceutical stock. Kind of a long, big base, 58 cents. It's getting oversold. Has a lot of things going for it for a penny stock. Has stochastics rotation. It's holding the 50-period moving average. It did have a little pop here. Lots of times you just have to get back to that value area before it pops again. That's what it almost looks like. Again, I would have to dig down a little bit deeper and see if they have any trials and what could be a catalyst. Let me do that. That's what I'm here for, right? Let me see. Hold on a second. See, this is, I don't know if, give me some feedback. If you think I should just mute all this and just come back and say, hey, you need to get into this, or do you like to hear the recorded thought process if I do find something live, instead of just muting everything and going and doing it and coming back and saving about probably 30 minutes of your time. If you want to hit me up with your opinion on that, do that. I would appreciate it. I don't know what people think. It's too much talking here. ADMP. So my process, I'll give you an example on this one time, because I'll show you the process I do. So maybe it'll help you with your research techniques, and you could actually look into this yourself. So, like I said, looks interesting. Normally I have over here a value, what do you call it? Over here in my watch list, I usually have a column that gives me the float. So I'm going to go to, I think it's fundamentals. What is it again? Current float, latest float. So ADMP actually has 25 million share float. It's not bad. I mean, all right. I just sometimes you get like this. This next one I want to show you, WSTL, only has 4 million shares available to trade. So you get a good float. You get people holding that. That price could really take off. So let's dig a little deeper in this ADMP. Like the price, like the stochastics, like everything about it, if my eyes were closed and I didn't know it was a penny stock or the prices weren't there, I'd really consider this. But let's see what lies underneath the hood here. There's your pandemic restarted. So let's start off with Biopharm Catalyst. Oh, I spelled it wrong, but it'll pop up there. Biopharmcatalyst.com. All right, and you can actually put a company in here, and it actually has a calendar. We're going to look at this today anyway because we're due to look at this. And you put in the stock, and some of them might not have anything in here. It might be, but yes, it does. It has a link to it. So let's click on the link, and then it'll come up with the chart, and then let me see. Is anything I see different on the chart? I see that volume spike here, sold off. I like this. I kind of like this. If you scroll down here, typically you have a toolbar that gives you it'll say pipeline, but I don't see that. That might mean there's nothing else available for this other than the basic financials and the news here. Oh, upcoming catalyst. Now, the way they did it is different. All right. Now they changed this around. This is good. Now they have the pipeline here, catalyst. Before I had to click to it. So what do we have here? We have a catalyst possible. Premium members are required to view catalyst dates. Oh, they changed this up big time. All right. So what is it? We could look that up. This is the IMHI. You know what? It's worth buying this. It's actually worth paying for this monthly to get this information. These are the drugs in the pipeline. Refusal to file letter received. Phase 3 development on hold. FDA approval announced on something. Low dose anaphylactics. And then CRL issued March 27, 2007 again, and approval announced June 15, 2007, following third submission. So they have a couple drugs. Latest news here, the 18th announced the publication of pharmaceutical model suggesting that higher doses are needed for successful resuscitation due to fentanyl overdose. All right, so maybe they make a overdose pill. Commercialize, announces license June 15th. They announced their license to commercialize Tempol, a novel investigational anti-inflammatory and antitoxidant drug for treatment of respiratory disease, including COVID-19. Announced license to commercialize a novel investigational anti-inflammatory antioxidant drug. Oh. All right, that's June 15th that came out. So let's look at the chart one more time here. Well, you know what? This will be the last one I do. So that was there, the news. That was June 15th right here. So that was that gap up here when that news came out. I had that COVID connection. So you got you have a COVID gap up. So I like to call the CG connection, COVID gap. And then it gives it all back. And then there was something back here. I think we passed that. That was early in June too. But we're back at that range again. And the fact is, there is, maybe there's something on this one. I like this one as a candidate for one of those cheapies. Let's wait for they, get in and, wait for the pop. So I'm going to put that on my list for Monday. I didn't get into that one today. This one's interesting. Westell Technologies, communication equipment. It did have a little pop here on the 17th, and I didn't look back on that, what news that was. It aggressively got a nice, and then it came back, and it's just chopping around here at 78 cents. And again, look at the stock. I remember the stock for years, and it's always been going down. I think it had something to do with telephones or something. Westell, maybe they, I don't know. Maybe they have flip phones or something. And it's very difficult to try to call a bottom. That's another thing. So you're kind of guessing that maybe there will be something starting to brew here, and it'll start turning back up. It could move fast. I mean, it's a well-known name. It probably has a huge float. No, this is the one that only has a 4.7 million float, so it doesn't have a big float. It could get, just some kind of bogus patent news or something like that, and this thing will be $1.75 in a day, easy. So I want to put that on my list. Also, just go through a couple other ones that I have. Organo Nova. Again, some of them got the little pop. It might have had a couple pops the other day. It kind of ramped up. It came all the way back down. I need to actually look at this one a little bit more. ONVO. So I'm going to come back. ONVO. I'm going to pause it and come back. All right, I made it to their site, Organ Ovo, and that's what it is. So that's the one we were just looking at. Symbol is ONVO, and it looks like they what they say, powering bioprinted human tissue to treat disease. Wow, that's pretty deep. Investors, press releases, investor kit, news and event, technology. I mean, I don't see anything that really represents something they have like in trials or anything. Sometimes go to that press release. Merger agreement reminds stockholder, announces special meeting of stockholders. I don't know. I mean, it looks they have a nice site and all. I don't know what their 3D bioprinting is about. I have to read into it more. It seems like there's I had to dig deep on that one. But what I do like, whatever caused this thing to move, it actually has a stock twits page, which could be helpful. It went from 46, it doubled. It basically doubled there. Now it's back down to that level. So I just think there's a pop here coming. It's worth looking at it. It's worth looking for that pop. That's what we're doing. We're not predicting anything, but this is good too. This is almost coiled up. Yeah. Actually, I'd go see what kind of volume came in. Something happened here. Volume started picking up, and then it. Yeah, this is good. This is good. All right, this one. Check. I picked up some check today. Check cap. There's another one that has this. Back here in 2018, it had a little spike up to about $15, but hasn't really had any type of excitement. It's kind of flatlined here. Just waiting for the Robinhood merry men to come along and pick it up. So I just like this because of that. I picked up 500 shares today. 500 shares at 54 cents. Give or take a penny. I'm actually going to check what it does right here. Hold on. All right, I found it. It's crazy. I just found it. I went to their site. A new vision for colorectal cancer prevention, preparation-free cancer screening device. What is this? Is this a camera? Is this a camera you had to stick somewhere? Oh my God! I gotta see this. Utilize an innate low-dose X-ray and wireless communication technology. Our capsules generate information on the contours of the inside of the colon as it passes naturally. This information used to create a 3D map of the colon, which allows physicians to look for polyps and other abnormalities. Excuse me. What? And anything else of anything else you need to know. Let's see here. Willingness to recommend Colorectal cancer screening removes many frequent cited barriers such as laxative bowel preparation, invasiveness, and sedation. Wow, this is intense. I gotta just look at this. Let's see what this is about there. This is this. Do you eat this? Look at it open up like the Death Star. This is crazy stuff. Detectors. This is like an X-Wing fighter pilot. I'm gonna go eat that. What's going on? Ingest a capsule, 1 tablespoon of contrast agent. Colon content mixed with contrast agent. Patients continue the daily routine during the 2 to 3 days of capsule passage. Capsule scans inside the colon were in motion. Capsules continue tracked by CT scan. That was extremely natural, extruded naturally. Do we have to find it? Oh my God. No way. This thing really, is this, am I being punked here? Because, you know what? To swallow something like that, if that worked perfectly and you didn't have to have a visual inspection and you just had to do that, because it's, I don't know, I guess you gotta kind of, that's crazy, huh? That's crazy. Well, that's the check cap. So, I wonder if it's like, so how do you, preparation free screening. Oh, I'm hitting the wrong thing there, home. That's crazy. So it's going through there. All right. Some news here. X-ray capsule offers patient-friendly colon cancer screening. 2018. Let me go all the way up here. See what we have here. May 2019, 2018. Press releases. June 26. Check cap announces receipt of NASDAQ minimum bid notification. Uh-oh. Gotta get this delisted here soon. Corporate update. This is what I wanted to say right here. I'm just going to look at it. If I find anything, I'll bring it back to you. So I went through it pretty much here. They did a couple cash raises. And I'm just writing down some stuff here. It's not that interesting, actually. I'm just I'm going to hold what I have. I'm not going to add to it. But that was the cap check. It does that camera. You ingest it. It doesn't have approval yet in the USA or anywhere. They said that's what they're working towards. I think that's the only thing I could gain from this. He says, we are recently completed a total of $11.5 million in capital raises through direct offering in addition to the $4.7 million private placement. This allows us to continue progressing towards IDE submission with FDA while in parallel taking the necessary steps and getting the C-scan ready for a planned U.S. pivotal study in 2021. So, I mean, there's some it looks interesting enough. So I'm just going to hold on to that. And remember, we're looking for, it doesn't even have to be in the news. They could have an article in a magazine, or it could be a podcast or recommendation from someone, a newsletter. This thing could pop once it gets the volume coming into it. If it has a massive spike in volume, it'll be very interesting. So, you know what, 54 cents. I probably will up it to 1,000 shares even. I'll get another 500 on Monday. Because I you know what, I'm looking at it. I just read the whole process. I mean, they're working towards. I'm gonna have to read up on a little bit more on it over the weekend. See what when they're planning on submitting their applications and stuff. I mean, when is that? That would be a great a news item to be into. What is it at the end of the year? Is it next year? Is it 3 years down the road? I mean, it feels like if it's close by, then you should be buying this. Just Energy. Here's another interesting one. I bought some of this today. I said, wow, cool name. All right. It had a little pop, and it gave it all back. And I said, all right, at least I have that going for me. I'm not chasing this. And, that's about it. I'm not that happy about that pop because that's what we're looking for. We're looking for something that happens exactly like this. Flat, one day, the little volume, next day, everyone's in it. And then everyone gets out because they didn't get what they wanted and they're moving on. But that's it's like almost a double right there. 48 to 91 cents. And it closed at the highs too. And who knows, it might have been up pre-market the next day before opening up. Sold off. So we're back into it. I'll look into it a little bit more right now. All right, it says Just Energy Group here, a Canadian-based natural gas and electricity retailer operating out of Canadian and American markets across the U.S. and in Germany, Ireland, and Japan. I know they are down in Texas. I went to their site. Not that familiar with it. Again, most of these are taken because of the pattern that I'm looking at, and then I want to make sure it's not a total scam. It is a company founded in 1997. Let's go back to that chart. Popped here on June 8th here. All right, on their site, you can go here now. It talks about them being on the New York Stock Exchange, the Toronto Exchange, how many years around, gross margin, global customers, 1.2 million, seems like a lot. A little bit more information there. I was going to see if they have a news section. I just want to see what came out on the June 8th area time frame there. I don't see anything. You know what I found out too? I'm reading all the news on this Just Energy here, and Just Energy here is set to release its earnings data before the market opens on Monday, June 29th. On Monday, they're gonna have earnings. I couldn't pick a more exact time to get into the stock. If you wanted to buy before earnings. Now, I didn't plan on doing that. I'd rather not be in it in front of earnings. But who knows? It was a gamble in the first place. But just to let you know, Monday there's going to be earnings. We're definitely going to move off of that. We'll see what happens with it. Here's ONTX. And again, another biotech company had to probably reverse split back here. Reverse split then. It's probably overdue for a reverse split. I'm not in this. This is my watch list, and I'm going to continue to dig down deep into these. Some of these might have some kind of something in the pipeline that might be interesting. It could gain some interest in it, and that's what you want to be in. You want to be in before the pop. Now, it did pop a few weeks ago, it looks like. Got up to 70 cents off of that. 40 cents. I mean, that's, any type of move like this when you're dealing with a penny stock is usually good on these. And it's been popping and popping and popping. And so there might be something out there. It's pulled back now, kind of closed that gap. If you're going to look at this, you're going to look at a good time to get in. This is probably it. I want to dig a little deeper right now. All right, use the same site to get us to their site here, where I could look at the recent catalyst or possible catalyst coming up. and what's in the pipeline. Now, looking at this, it said that it had a phase 1/2A initiation announced on June 22nd. I think that's probably what that pop was from. If we go back here, let's see what day that was. Well, that was June 11th. Let's see here. I'm not really seeing anything here really caused any pop in that stock, especially that announcement. But it looks okay. All right, so let's go back to here. Initiation announced June 22nd. That was interesting. I guess it's not that. Phase 3 special protocol assessments. Mission announced January 8th, 2019. We're not worried about that one. But what I want to see here is this phase 3. It says I can't. So I'm going to take that drug. I already copied it. I'm going to run over to another site here. It's called Clinical Trials. That's it. Oh. Let me. Clinicaltrials.gov. And then I'm going to just do a search for that drug, and then this way I'll kind of get the back door of when that trial is supposed to be ended. So I put it usually under this one. I just copy and see what comes in here. No studies. All right. Oops. No studies. So let's see if I could start over. Let me see. I want to get rid of a term here. Get rid of that. Oh no, let me see. Maybe I'll get rid of the Roman numeral. See if these two are matched together. One study. Yes. Active. That's it. That's it. This is it. Drug entity approved for standard care therapy, best supportive care. Alright, so we're going to click on that. We got right down to it pretty fast. And then we're just going to scroll down. Tells you a little bit. You do all your research you want. Write down the design, what it is, actual study start date, estimated primary completion date, January 31st, 2020. Now, why isn't that come to, well, 2020. What am I thinking about? So end of the year. So end of the year on this. And they're in phase 3. So you could probably go to their, dig down a little bit deeper into what happened with the phase 2, how good the results were, what they, you have to really dig into this. But there is phase 3 coming out. I wonder if it'll slowly ramp up into that. This thing used to be a nice looking stock. $54. Do I have that one? I do not have that one. I want to write it down. I have I don't want to get into too many of these. It becomes dead money after a while, but I want to just keep these on a separate chart, just to kind of keep a look at them, keep them on my screen. Let's see here. So the Jagex I did get today. That was the first thing I picked up, and I actually picked up 2,000 shares of this. Yes, I did. Jagex. I picked up 2,000 shares of this just because, again, mainly the lack of any interest in this for such a long time. I like the name. Again, certain things. This is a different way of trading. This is not your technical analysis and stuff. This is just kind of being in a position and seeing it. Don't usually do this. I do it maybe once, twice a year, and I'll talk about it. I'll get into some drug stocks that have some catalysts out there. But this week, I want to try this. Some of these are not drugs. Some of these are, well, most of them are, but I believe there's a couple that are not drugs that I'm going to show you. So let's take a look at this a little bit more. All right, here it is, Jaguar Health. It's on the site here. All right, phase 2 trial. Protocol development for discussion with FDA. And dogs. I think there's a dog medicine company. In dogs. Diarrhea in dogs. Jaguar health. Makes sense, right? The animal. It's an animal. Looking at it, I'm not that excited about it. Especially if it's a, I'd rather them working on my stock to be working on. That's good that they're working on animals, but I don't know if it's food and drug. I don't know if that's true or not. I would dig down a little bit deeper here. Yeah, it looks like that. Announced today that it's submitted at U.S. FDA Center Veterinary Medicine. The company expects the final major filings to support approval of its oral plant-based drug candidate, Canalevia, to help treat chemotherapy that induced diarrhea in dogs. So, all right, well, who knows? Who knows where this thing could go? I would not add to it. If I knew it before I got into it, it probably would have got in just 1,000 shares instead of 2,000. But I'm not upset with it. It's kind of it's in the level I like. I wouldn't mind seeing a spike in this. All right, let's continue on. Some other ones, Guardian Health, no position. Again, there was a lot to choose from. I was just writing them down just to go over them with you. Then I said, a lot of the Chinese stocks are getting these spot pops. So let me do a country search for cheapies like this. And this one came up, SXTC, pharmaceutical company out of China. And again, it fits that category. It really does. But I don't know what they do, and I'm not even going to go there. It did have a little pop the other day. Volume started to pick up, pulled back. It's probably, testing the waters there. Seeing if it's going to be a runner. If they did, it'll go. If not, it's not destined to be. Inspire MD medical device. NSPR. I have 1,000 shares of this. So this was another one. It's actually gapped down, then popped back up, and then pulled back. And again, oversold. Cheapy, 49 cents. Picked up 1,000 shares today. And I'll probably dig a little deeper here on this one. All right, interesting. Here's the Inspire MD. And again, that is NSPR. NSPR trading at about 49 cents. Now this starts to look kind of interesting. A Heart of Innovation. They do stents and stuff. All right. Products. They have these 3 products. I was reading up on it. I went right to the let's check out that Seaguard. Sustained care for your carotid stenosis patients. Mesh stent designed to improve patient safety. So they're in trials on this. If you take a look at their let's take a look here at their clinical trials. You'll see they have a couple here. They have the Kasana 30-day results soon to be published. So that's kind of a catalyst right there. And then I was saying, all right, well, they have the Seaguard, and it says summary there. 6-month clinical results demonstrated a very safe implementation behavior without any stroke up to 6 months after the procedure. And then we had this one, Iron Guard, Seaguard here, 200 consecutive patients. 30-day results have been published, and I went to the summary page here. It brought me outside here, and then it looked like summary 30-day results. Let me zoom in here. And again, this might, some of these terms and words I'm not going to be familiar with. 200 patients in 12 centers were treated with the Seaguard EPS with technical success of 100%. DWMRI was used 72 hours prior to and after procedure in several centers, and total elimination of post-procedural neurologic complications at 30 days was observed. total elimination of post-procedure. All right, so that's good. And then the FU in comments here says this is the first real-life vascular surgeon multicentric study. The procedure and clinical 30-day FU was excellent. A subgroup was analyzed with the DWMRI and confirmed the neural protection given was C-guard compared with historical series of conventional stents. So it sounds like everything here is actually looks pretty good here on that one. So I went back here to the clinical studies. So they have the Iron Guard. They have this one up here, the Kasana, soon to be published. Let's just see what the summary says on this. This has my interest a lot here. All right, so safety and efficacy patients, carotid artery stenting, early experience from a single center. 82 principal cause. It looks like her operative technical and clinical success was met in 100% of the symptomatic patients and 98.5 cases of the asymptomatic patients. In the post-operative period, 30 days, no new events were registered. The most recent 21 treated patients, 24 underwent DWM in the past operation, or in the perioperative period. It was found to be safe and effective. All right, so that's good, and I guess they still have to finish this one. If we're looking back at here, I have to probably dig a little bit deeper. It says soon to be published, but maybe it is published. Iron Guard, again published. Then we have a couple other ones here. Follow-up study. Let's check a look at this last one here. All right, this is going to get a little complicated here. This is the whole kit and caboodle. I think this is Israeli company. I'm not sure. No, or there was one of the ones we just looked at before. It was an Israeli company. I just realized that. So they have this kind of a big... Oh, God. We'll look into this a little bit more. If anybody knows anything else about this or wants to look into it, that would be good. All right? There's a lot of information. And the price looks right at this point. It does. They have some trials going on. It seems like their past trials were good. Inspire. There hasn't been any spikes in it. So we have that potential. Look at the hourly. You can see going back here, all the way back here until last year, September 2019. We had a little pop from $2 to, we'll say $4. It doubled. Now it's at 49 cents. A move to $1 is easy here. And it seems to have something we're going for. I had to dig a little bit deeper, but I'm in this one, and I kind of like this. Kind of like the setup here. Of all the ones we went through so far, that is my favorite. The Jaguar, even though it sounded cool, the doggy diarrhea one, I think I might switch that cash over into this other one. They're basically the same price. NTEC is the last one on... Well, no. Sorry. 12. Yeah, this is the last one on this list. And then I have a couple more for you. NTEC. A nice little run here in June. It's come back, regained all, taken back all those. And again, flatline stock. That's what I'm looking at. Maybe a biotech and tech pharmaceuticals. Let me dig down a little here. I'll be right back. All right. Well, they have a pill. They have a way of delivering drugs through a pill. It failed their Parkinson trial. I'm reading some of the updates. They did a cash raise. They say they have two. They said they had two 2 drugs in trials, but I only see 1 in trial, and they didn't mention that this one didn't play out. Late stage phase 3 development of treatment of Parkinson's disease and advanced Parkinson's disease patients. And the cannabinoids, accordion pill deliver either both primary cannabinoid containing cannabis, sativa, or so this is like how to deliver cannabis for treating pain, for various pain indications. Now I know it's exciting to hear that, that, but I don't know if that's the same delivery system they used for the treating this, the accordion pill for Parkinson's that did not pass. Why would this pass? They have some kind of deal with Merck, and they got paid for that, and that's supposed to continue. And again, this is their highlights. Announced the accordion pill development for Merck. Received a $1.5 million payment from Novartis related to the conclusion of the option agreement. In collaboration with our partners, LTS, we demonstrated our ability to manufacture at commercial scale. This is proficiency, coupled with our recent successes in developing unique APs to meet the technical specifications set forth by Novartis and Merck, enhanced our ability to engage in partnership discussions with other large biopharma companies as we actively seek to add more collaborative agreements in 2020. So, there's a story maybe down there, like they said, they're possibly launching this. This phase 3 did not meet primary endpoint. So again, it says here it did not. This one is planned for 2020. So when they announced that, I guess that might cause a. Let's see here. Let me just take a look at APTHC. I don't know if that's going to come up in my clinical trials search page. It seems pretty generic. No. I guess I would have to look a different area here. Alright, I'm not even going to go that far on that. We know what it does. Expecting something in 2020. It failed one thing in June. Failed the Parkinson trial, and that's why it. I think that's why it got crushed. Let me see. Trying to keep these all up here. My God, so much. NTIC. All right. See here? This is went from $3 all the way down to 60 cents. That's happened in 2000. I think it was June 2019 when the Parkinson's disease trial failed, did not meet its endpoint. That's how it got smashed down here. So now maybe we're getting up close to another one. NTEC. We zoom out here, you could see it back here. Hasn't done much since then. One thing we got an oversold stochastic. Last time we got oversold, didn't do much. I mean, the thing is a dead stock, but as I said, could be something brewing in the future. NTEC, and I do not have any of that. So, but I wanted to show you those for this week. These are my list, and I have a couple more here. Let me get to these fast. Let me see. some I didn't put on the list here. SGBX. SGBX. No, that's not it. SG. That's SBBBX. Sorry about that. SGBX. There we go. Metal fabrication. It had a pop. That's what I'm talking about. At least every so often you get this. Maybe once a year. It's like the Easter Bunny comes. And it pops. And if you're in the right time, right place on this will give you double, triple. You have to have sometimes you have to have the order in. You can't miss a day. You don't know what's going to happen. I mean, it's not the easiest trade, but I like when we get in before it starts to run. I feel these are just little lottery tickets. That's what I'm focused on just on this video, just showing you some that have not moved yet. If you want to take a different approach to trading during these this kind of pullback we're seeing with the resurgence of the coronavirus. All right, so the NS, we talked about that one. I think we talked about, let me see. NSPR, yeah, we did that one. Vive, here, this is another one, Vive. Did I get any Vive? I didn't get Vive. Medical device, VIVE, flatlined, 50 cents, oversold. Let me save that and put it in our list here. Copy Vive, 2 flatline, cheapies. Let me look at it. Well, I've done it again. I don't know what I've gotten myself into, but there's I don't know. I can't even figure out what to. I'm afraid to even go dig down too deep here. Global Women's Intimate Health Company. So it's a woman's intimate health, non-invasive treatments. Oh, and I went through this, the Vive system, or the Vivive, or Vive. I would say it's the Vivive system, tightening, strengthening, heating the tissue at depth. What tissue? This is so weird. Oh boy, I know what tissue they're talking about now. So, careers, events. Solutions. At home. At home. Strengthen the pelvic floor muscles and calm. Oh my God! A patented electric stimulation device with high and low levels of stimulation. Cheap unitary. All right. I don't know where that's going. Well, I know what the company's about now. I tell you, you learn something every day trading. Let me get back to the chart. You never know, right? I'm not going there. I'm going to pass on that one. Let's hope I didn't grab that one just because it sounded cool. I did not. I just checked. And SPR, check that one. Did we go over the? I don't think we went over this one. I had 2 lists I was making. I was putting on a list on a piece of paper, which I brought in, or on the charts, and then I put a list on my phone, the ones I really didn't want to forget. So the one on my phone here is CANG. And this is the highest priced one that we're looking at today, actually. I might throw a big one in for it after. Internet content. Starting to see a little volume starting to come into it. Picked it up this morning. I don't, again, it's a Chinese company, I guess. Kango. I'm not even sure about that. But I think I was doing a search for a Chinese company because I started to see some of these Chinese internet companies start to move fast. So I wanted to find one that fit the criteria. So this fit the criteria. So I ended up picking up a few hundred shares on this also. let's see here. Where am I? I'm gonna just save it as a cheapie. See if it comes up with my float. Doesn't come up. It was actually doesn't look bad. I mean, again, I want to dig a little deeper for you. All right, here's Kang. Oh, I remember this. I was looking at this yesterday. I was watching this guy. I said, I'm going to go with this. I'm going to go that this is a Chinese company. Automotive transaction service. I read their latest financials, and they make money. They said they got hit with the coronavirus, but they're going to come back strong. Announces changes. All right, regains compliance. This is where I think I actually was reading total revenues. I mean, I'm not really digging down into this, but I wanted to get some of the comments, and the comments in line with previous mentioned here. China auto industry was severely disrupted by the COVID-19 pandemic in the first quarter of 2020. These results, the headwinds during that period, total revenue decreased, and we experienced an uptick in delinquency rates. Dealers across the country encountered a series of business challenges while they slowly began to resume their operation. To overcome these challenges, we proactively implemented a number of countermeasures to keep our overall asset quality at a manageable level and provide dealers with the assistance they need. Sounds good. Everyone's dealing with it. Looking ahead, we plan on regaining the growth momentum. I mean, this is all talk. The financial office throwing a lot here. Severely impacted by COVID-19. We generated, how much would that be in American dollars? But 246 million total revenue in the first quarter of 2020, decreasing 30% from the same period last year. So, the same period last year, they were doing much better. That makes a lot of sense. I mean, automotive transaction service platform trying to connect dealers, financial institutions, car buyers, and other industry participants. Founded in 2010. Able to connect its platform participants while bringing the. All right, so, and here's the website here. It looks like. I think they have an English version. Let's see what. So I mean, it's not much to talk about. Started to move back up. They said they were hit a lot by coronavirus. They were at 730 at that point. Now it's at 553. It's not my favorite. Taking a shot on it. Seeing they've had some momentum behind it. Just starting early momentum. It's way down here. Figured I'd give it a shot. So that was that. And then I wanted to mention, that's it for the cheap ones. And I apologize, we're kind of going over some real cheap ones, and most people expect some quality names. I needed to get this out because I did take those positions today, and I know it's a little different. I wanted to show you some things different. I am going to be adding HPS setups here. I added to my Boston Scientific today, even though it was selling off. And we could sell off, but we're in the lower part of that range. We're definitely oversold. MDT. I'm not putting too much into. MDT is a good one down here too. I'm not in that, but that's holding that lower channel line, and it's oversold. Net continues to be one of my favorites. It actually held up pretty good today, considering the market making the lower lows. Net here not making lower lows, and actually holding up this imaginary trend line I put in here. We seem to be holding pretty good here. Any upside, this thing will probably just go. I'm going to be buying every pullback on this, unless we have, but this is an internet infrastructure type of play, so this will grow good times and bad. I just love the time frame down here. I mean, all these good stocks here. One started off down here, and now they're $200, $300. So the BSX, NET, Cureleaf came back pretty good today, and it's hanging in there. It's another cheapie, and again, I don't want to bring too many cheapies to, but that is one that I am really watching and analyzing the strength on this. It looks great. Everything's behind it. It looks like they have a anything that happens in the medical marijuana or in the recreational marijuana world, this one will definitely benefit from that, along with some other ones. I did a couple divergent scans today. I came up with a couple too. Let me tell you what I came up with. The first one looked interesting. IEX. IDEX Corporation. Never really, it had some good volume today. It gapped up. It was just holding steady as the market pulled back. It was showing great relative strength, and at the end of the day, it really just let loose. And the other one that was showing good relative strength was the Dada today. It didn't really sell off. I was watching it here going into whatever time frame this was. The market was selling off, and this was just going sideways. And when you see that sideways consolidation and the market's going straight down, this one's destined to start moving back up. That was a great sign right there. And I mean, it moved. Maybe it moved $1, but overall, on a daily, it looks very good for a breakout next week. If that strength wants to hold, it was a good move here. Still a huge fan of the MSCI, and I was up on it yesterday. Definitely expected to get some follow through, but got hit with a market sell off. And watching this one on my screen all day, it was hanging pretty tough. I mean, considering the market took out the lows, this did not take out yesterday's lows where the market did. That shows us something. And we've gotten some good bounces on here. $40 is that level I've been watching. We kind of got through it the other day. Maybe believe that we could get some follow through, but we needed the market to participate. But this will be one of the first ones that bounce, get back above that 40 area. It's kind of coiled up. It's kind of a little pennant formation in the stochastics right there. The 60 minutes just getting oversold, and you can see it's not that damaged. It's not damaged goods here. And they would say the SPX here, same chart, and has a little steeper trend line break of it, and that's pushing down. So if we look at that S&P, we will be set up on Monday for a 60-minute. The daily was strictly negative. 5-minute, we're not going to get into that. We have to see what the news is. Any positive news out of, I guarantee you, any positive news out of talking about a vaccine or anything like that, the market pops. Any negative news, trial gets stopped. There's a little disappointment out there, the market drops. All right, that is the true call. And then the I would say the polling now is starting to play a part. If Biden pulls away, apparently he's leading, except under economy against. But you can't trust polls. But the market and the sentiment out there, it has to follow something. So it does. It will react to just like the rising number of corona cases, the rising number of supporters jumping up into the Biden camp might cause an issue with this market. Needs to be seen. Stimulus is possibly going to be announced. They're talking about it. The next stimulus package, the next checks that are going out, how much is it going to be? How is it going to work? Is that going to bring more money into the market? Markets don't look that bad up here. I mean, yeah, we have a down day today. COVID is running wild. Any good news, though, this thing is right back to the highs. We're not that far off. Anything else? I mean, considering we're going to just see what happens on Monday. Like I said, I do like that Boston Scientific. I like the net here. It's probably one of my best bets because it did hold up. We did add to it, and with some options this week. So I moved my option position up on that. EXCL and AUPH, excuse me. Not doing much. It had a down day with the rest of the market today. AUPH also down with the rest of the market. The SPAC plays, not really much going on there either, especially on a Friday, but this one slowly moved up, and we're starting to see a series of higher lows, and it's slowly sneaking up, and this is what these things do. This was Flying Eagle Corporation. This is the one that was DEAC and FEAC. FEAC is now a SPAC holding company looking to acquire something, and the previous DEAC was DraftKings, and you know the story on that. And the DraftKings actually not really performing, well, especially with the Corona making a rebound, and when the Corona comes back, sports go away, and this is a betting site. So those two things. The oversold level in the 50-period moving average looks like a good area. It's also that little high back in mid-May, 31.47. I bet we get down to 31, in the 31 range. I think that's going to be it. Now, I'm going to go from one side of the spectrum, the 50-cent stocks, to the $500 stocks. I mean, it's just, you notice the direction of the stocks. Those 50-cent stocks are all down here. It's a different game altogether. It's a gambling game. A much easier game to play is buy the strength. Even in the market going down today, there's certain stocks out there that are holding great strength and will continue to move higher. NetEase here looks perfect. It did not give up anything. It's holding the 20-period moving average. Market runs. This thing's going to pop. Market gets a big bounce the next week. This thing will be up 20 points. Fastly has been in the news recently. They're a competitor of Cloudflare, and there were rumors of an acquisition that someone was looking at this. Imagine they weren't looking at this and they were looking at Cloudflare instead, and it popped and this dropped. Well, usually an acquisition in a sector is good for all stocks, but it really depends on. I mean, this continues to move. These are stocks that the new generation, Coop, C-O-U-P. If you've been in it for the last 2 years when we've been recommending it, I mean, you'd probably you wouldn't need to do anything else just to be in Coop. It was my best bet of the year. That was the number one pick of the year, meaning that's what I would say hold on for the year. And I'm going to probably say it for this year too, other than that sneaking up behind it for the rest of the year. This looks good. And the other ones here, this Square is still good. I mean, that's still starting to move out. There's a nice breakout approaching next week. It might be starting to happen right now, right in that 100 level. So there is a lot of positive names. Lots of positive names. I remember Biohaven. I saw some news out on that. I remember getting out of this back here, and now it's at $70. I can't believe it. I did the migraine study, headache. All right. Well, I went through a lot of other stuff here, and we're going to call it a video before we get too far into this. It's an hour and 15-minute video. I apologize for the length of it, but there was a lot of good stuff I had to go over with you. As a best bets, the NET here continues to be on my list, and I will be adding to the MSCI as better stocks to be in. Like to see if the virus starts going down, how the market reacts. We need to get something to pop here off of that, or else more bad news is just not going to be good for the market. So I will see everyone Sunday night when the futures open up. Well, have a great weekend. Enjoy yourself. Stay safe, and we'll see you then.